Okay, this is a video for the TRN VX. It's a 7 driver. It's got 6 balanced armatures and 1 dynamic driver. And I usually do like 15 to 20 minutes. I'll probably do 5 minutes less because I'm going to show you something right now very specific. This is When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin on their 4th album. And you can follow along if you want, if you've got this set maybe in your possession. I'm at timestamp 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Go ahead and listen. I'm going to hit play. That is very hot cymbals. It's very loud. When I first started listening to this, I was actually kind of enjoying it because I looked at the frequency response and I thought that might not have enough bass for me, and that wasn't actually the problem. The problem was that the cymbals were always, and the vocals were dominant. That crashing by John Bonham is absolutely, if I listen to that at low volume, here's an example. Led Zeppelin harmonica dominant over Bonham. So if you're listening to this track from the beginning, again, When the Levee Breaks, this is like a very common song that a lot of people watching this might be familiar with. It's a classic rock and roll from one of the most famous rock and roll albums ever released. This is Bonham right here. And then the harmonica comes in at 6 seconds, and the harmonica from 6 seconds forward is dominant over Bonham. Now this is a song that's famous in the music world for its savage, authoritative kick drum and the way that they mastered it in the studio and how he was recorded in a home in the corner under the stairs. And this is a recording moment in rock and roll history. Bonham, When the Levee Breaks. The harmonica is not supposed to overtake him, and it usually doesn't, but on this set it does. I'm not bashing it, but instead of going into a elongated elaboration, this is one song where everything becomes apparent, and it plays out in all other songs that have prominent vocals or cymbal strikes that are significant. AC/DC, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. So that is, you wouldn't listen to this album with this set. Is it a bad set? No, it's not. I think that you would have to listen to it at a lower volume, and even at the lower volume you're going to get, that's going to be the dominant part. And if you look at a frequency graph, you're not going to think that much. The highest point is 8K, but that doesn't automatically mean anything. This is my opinion. I saw a video that was done by one of the people that tuned it that I'm not a big fan of, but I love the TRN V90. I still like it best out of the TRN stuff that I've listened to. I don't know why. I just find the TRN V90 to be quite good. I like the V80. It's a V, but it's good, and the V90 was an improvement on that. That's a hybrid, I believe, and it's still a V, but I kind of like it. This is jarring. That harmonica over Bonham at 6 seconds of When the Levee Breaks is something you could listen to your favorite set with right now. And John Bonham, even when the harmonica comes in, should still be holding his position as the focus of the song at that point, throughout, really. The harmonica has its moments, but John Bonham is the backbone of that track. Like drummers are usually the backbone to most typical classic rock. This is a track where Bonham is being spotlighted. This is a big moment actually for him. He was thundering in this, and the harmonica, which was actually done backwards, and they did some effects with this, is taking it over. That's not some. You look at the bass and you think this is about 10 dB. This is not abnormal or excessive. It's on the line though. And this chop top treble is kind of what I prefer. And having 8K as the highest point is not necessarily a death knell. What I think is happening is I think they put the balanced armature in the stem. None of these photos show it, and I don't want to show the other guy's video without permission, but right inside this stem is a balanced armature. And I've discovered, like with the dynamic drivers, that I'm a big fan of the TFC number 3, the metal one. They're both good, the metal one. The Urban Fun, the Belon 03, the KXXS, the Canas Pro. They all have that thing in common. They're a single dynamic driver and they're in a hard shell. Now, sets that have balanced armatures stuffed right in the nozzle. They're literally in the way. They're not running tubes, as far as I know, inside the TRN, and so the noise from the dynamic driver is coming through the stem and it's going around the balanced armature, which is physically in the way. I'm pretty sure that's the case. And if that is the case, on other sets that I've heard that have the same configuration, you can get a metallic sound in the treble. Some KZs have that, and they have the BA in the stem. So like the metal single dynamics have a pattern, I'm seeing a pattern with the way the treble is delivered when you put the BA right in the nozzle. Because this, people will look at this grab and say, well, that 8K, that'll get you. You know, man, kind of overstated. It's different for different people. For me, it's not that big a deal. It's not this that's getting me. It's the way that the BA is positioned. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Is it a bad set? No, it's got a ton of details. As a matter of fact, Michael Jackson Want to Be Starting Something, minute 28, minute 32. That left channel beep is there. That is... So in a resolving sense and getting back stuff like guitar for Blind Faith, Can't Find My Way Home, played it great. It's when Ginger Baker's Strike comes in at 27 seconds. I want to be really specific with you guys so you can follow along. Let me go to Blind Faith. Can't Find My Way Home. You play this, it opens up with the guitar. Why don't we play him? I gotta turn on my mic so you guys can pick that stuff up. Everything sounds fine until the 27-second timestamp when Ginger Baker makes his first entrance, when it is a big splash. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Ooh, that is hard. I'm turning that up so you can hear it. Maybe you couldn't. When you're listening to this even at low volume in your ears, remember these are like earplugs, there's nothing else coming in, that is a significant event. And it's... I don't wreck this set. I think that the balanced armature in the nozzle might be something... I'm trying to be constructive here and not just say, this set's garbage. If it's possible to not put the balanced armature in the nozzle, maybe not doing that. And I was thinking, here's the Theo Audio Legacy 3, which is turning out quite popular. They've got a BA that's close, but it's tubed, and it's got like a dampening filter in the middle, so it's got its own thing. And the dynamic driver has its own tube, so you're getting the sound separated until it hits your ears, pretty much. By the time it's hitting your eardrum, it's kind of combined itself to make the whole production and the whole playback. But this is kind of important for me. And if you take this balanced armature and you put it right in here, it gets in the way of the dynamic driver unless you're running out in a tube. So I don't know if that's definitely the case. If somebody from TRN came in and gave a confirmation, I would totally allow that to be put in. I'm trying to be supportive. I'm a big fan of Chi-Fi. I want to see all the companies improve and do well. So the cable is pretty typical for its price range. It's not bad. It's not Belon 03 garbage level. It's a straight in. It's not right angle. A lot of people complain about that. I don't really care. I noticed when I was plugging in though that's like a straight in type plug. Don't care that much. It's got very tight hooks on it, which is something that kind of like the Belon. I don't know. This is $70. I think that's the price. So Black Sabbath, Sweet Leaf, which I also listen to. So I listen to Black Sabbath, Sweet Leaf, Blind Faith, Can't Find My Way Home, Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun, America, Tin Man, Pink Floyd, On the Run, AC/DC, Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, Michael Jackson, Want to Be Starting Something, Led Zeppelin, When the Levee Breaks. And that was what I needed to come to my conclusions. Bass is sufficient, detail is good. Vocals and cymbals. Cymbals always hot. Vocals, anything above low volume. So you can listen at a low volume, and you could EQ if you want, but I don't do comments about EQ because a lot of people don't want to get something that they have to EQ. If you did, you could probably correct this very easily because the drivers that are responsible for that almost obnoxious treble event was most certainly the set that's inside the nozzle. And if that is not in the nozzle, like not here and instead is right here, someone can go ahead and clarify. That song that I just let you listen to, that's hard to listen to. Everything I listen to, every time a cymbal struck or vocals got louder, it was notable. It's not something that I would think that you could listen to. I could listen to the V90 longer than I could listen to this. I could go look. I don't care what the graph says. Maybe that graph's got a giant metal spike in the whole treble. It just seemed to sound okay, like a traditional V. Whereas this has a... It's a little harder to take. AC/DC Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, 15-second timestamp, cymbal hot. Bon Scott, all right, low volume, cymbal hot, all volume. Blind Faith, Can't Find My Way Home, 27, cymbal too hot, extra low volume, like I turned that way down. Michael Jackson, I did get the beep. Led Zeppelin, harmonica dominant over Bonham. I've never heard that. I've not been listening to When the Levee Breaks a lot with IEMs until recently, because it's a great bass check, especially for BA, because it can be done, and it's intentional. That we talk about audiophiles, or people talk about that, and one of the definitions is faithful reproduction. Well, John Bonham is supposed to be obnoxiously powerful instrument in that song. He's supposed to be. It's like John Paul Jones in Whole Lotta Love. Robert Plant laughs at the beginning of that song. Robert Plant. I wanted to be Robert Plant when I was a kid. When I saw him with his golden hair lit from the back with his shirt open, I thought, that guy's a fucking god. I want to be that guy. Not this version of Led Zeppelin 2. This version, which is much better. Now, if you watch this, okay. You see that? There's nothing on that display. At the beginning of this, Robert Plant comes in and he mocks the world with a little laugh, and then John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page come in and do that thing. I just want to show that because I noticed that. Watch it. For the first 0.4 seconds, it'll have a slow roll across the whole vocal range, and then it'll go right into the song. Just them. That's him laughing at you. This is not a set for enjoying Led Zeppelin. That Hi-Fi Man is awesome, and I did a video for it last night, but I just was gushing too much, and then I went into a personal thing, so I'll redo that video. That was a great replay. This is not. This is not something that I would recommend, and if the people that built this are listening, which they probably won't be, but if they were, try taking the BAs out of the stem or tubing them and getting them out of the way of the dynamic driver, because it sounds like if you were to listen, if you're familiar with Led Zeppelin, and listen to When the Levee Breaks, and listen to the very beginning, and then 6 seconds when the harmonica comes in, that dominant harmonica is actually not the way. Then go listen to another set that you know is more balanced, and you'll notice that Bonham pretty much keeps his position as the focus of the song, intentionally mastered as such by the way that they kicked up his replay over everybody else, except for certain points later in the track. Bonham is supposed to be the focus of that album, or that song, and everybody that's listened to it knows it. Harmonica was dominating it, and those cymbals that I let you listen to way earlier, those are hard to take. So this is the TRN VX. I believe it's about $70-ish. $73.99. Might be cheaper in other places. Cable is not great. Design of the balanced armature and the nozzle is showing itself in every single thing that I listen to, and it's not something that I think anybody would be into unless they listen to a different genre of music that I do. I don't know if classical music, I don't think that would be ideal, but I can't say. So my library is context. All my evaluation is based on the music that I listen to, and I show you that music. On nothing that I listened to did this seem... I thought that the guitar at the beginning of Can't Find My Way Home sounded like, wow, this is going well, and then Ginger Baker Strikes, and then that was it, because he keeps coming in again and again after that. So this is the TRN VX. I'd say pass. There's so much good stuff out there right now. If this came out 2 years ago, I think I'd still say pass, but I think if I listen to the TRN V90 and this, which I'll do after I do this video, and if I come back and say, actually this is better than, I'll type it in my own comment section. I don't think so, though. I don't ever remember the V90 being that jarring in the treble. So that's it. I'm out. I'll go ahead and throw this up tonight. That is beautiful. I'm talking about the computer, not the earphones. I'm out.
shelling my name. To be precise, ripping mics is the